It's 7 o'clock in Liberia from the News Center of Freedom Communications Incorporated. A pleasant good evening. Welcome to Freedom Evening News Basket. 45-minute production of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. Today is Tuesday. That's Wednesday, December 28, 2022. My name is Hagar Gonda. I'm covering tonight's edition of the news program. In the top developments we carry tonight, World Bank approves 1 million United States
because of divisions we paved road network in the country. Criminal Court A is seeking the arrest of 6 government employees for refusing to come to court for jurors' service without any notice to the court. Judge Roosevelt Willie Wednesday instructed court officers to apprehend 6 government employees for contempt following their selection for jurors' service in connection to a trafficking person case that is currently before the court for litigation. According to judicial correspondent, the employees include Dennis Sompon of Finance Ministry, Willie Benson of Liberia Telecommunication Authority, Mikey Atoll of Ministry of Public Works, Faith Haddad of the Environmental Protection Agency, Papi Claw of Public Works, and Nancy Davis. Our judicial correspondent further said that 6 government employees risk being fined or 14 days imprisonment at the Monrovia Central Prison if they are found guilty of contempt as provided by law. One of the constituent political parties in the Coalition for Democratic Change, the National Patriotic Party, has reaffirmed its position that primary will be conducted for all representative and senatorial slots for the people to directly choose their prospective lawmakers. NPP Chairman Emeritus Chief Cyril Allen said the 3 political parties will have to bring forward their candidates, including incumbent, to face the people. Chief Allen spoke in an interview with newsmen when he gave an update of the CDC framework agreement being drafted by the constituent political parties. Commenting on appointment in executive, Chief Allen made it clear that the new CDC framework agreement will give the power to the governing council of the CDC to be authoritative, that will forward the name of any personality for appointment in the executive and judiciary. According to Chief Allen, the 2 other constituent political parties, The Congress for Democratic Change and the Liberia People's Democratic Party have all expressed their willingness to work together in the 2023 presidential and legislative elections. President George Weah has vowed the construction of several health facilities across the country during his presidency. President Weah said the construction of the Emirates Hospital facility in Bapulu County will improve the health sector in Western Liberia and allow foreign nationals in the country and people from nearby Sierra Leone to have access to affordable healthcare service delivery. He made the pledge on Wednesday when he officially dedicated the newly constructed Emirates Hospital in Bapulu County. For his part, UAE Foreign Affairs Minister Sheikh Shabud Nahin Al Lion described the construction of the Emirates Hospital in Bapulu County as a beacon of hope for Africa's health sector. The United Arab Emirates Foreign Minister also said the facility is a sign of cooperation between the country and the UAE, which will strengthen its partnership with Liberia in the coming years. Meanwhile, following the dedication, the president led a guided tour of the 100-bedroom facility, inspecting various departments, including the patient's wards, surgical rooms, maternity and emergency wards. The Liberian National Police has warned individuals who are randomly firing crackers and instilling fear in peaceful citizens and residents this festive season. The LNP, through a release, called on citizens who are bent on the use of firecrackers during this festive season to desist with immediate effect or face the full weight of the law. The release followed that during the celebration of the festive season, the LNP is now taking serious attention on people who will be involved in activities to scare other peaceful citizens, residents in homes, marketplaces, and other social gatherings. The LNP meanwhile asked citizens to remain law-abiding during this festive season, as it will not relent to arrest anyone whose actions will create panic to the others. An officer of the Executive Protection Service has finally set the stage for his prosecution at the Criminal Court A with a plea of not guilty on allegation of trafficking in persons. Officer Arthur Chanchan Wednesday denied conspiring with his brother Samuel Chanchan, based in UAE, and for criminally trafficking two Liberian ladies to women. Officer Arthur Chanchan's December 20th plea, according to our judicial correspondent, has shifted the burden on prosecuting lawyers to prove their claims against him as provided by Chapter 25, Section 25.5 of the Criminal Procedure Law of Liberia. Our judicial correspondent follow said that Officer Chanchan's account to the court has witnessed the selection of 12 penal jurors by government and defense lawyers for litigation at Criminal Court A as provided by law. The judge of the Second Judicial Court in Grand Bassa County has lauded President George Weah and the government for enabling him to travel to New Delhi, India, after a tragic motor accident on July 27th of this year. Judge Joe Bacon, in a written communication, said his medical examination and treatment at the Madanti Specialty Hospital in India was based on Dr. Savas at ERW Hospital during his admission there. The motor accident, which took place in Pinsfield, according to our judicial correspondent, caused Judge Bacon to have sustained severe pelvic structure above his right leg, and the severity of the injury extended to the level of being unable to stand or walk. After being treated for 90 days in India, the doctors declared him fit and then discharged him and returned to Liberia on November 29th. Our judicial correspondent said Judge Bacon then extended thanks to the judiciary, the LNBA, the Bassa Bar, and former Chief Justice Francis Kokpa for the immense efforts made towards his travel to India for advanced treatment. The national chairman of the Unity Party has observed that all functionaries of the Liberian government have come to a complete halt, and likeness of the people for this government has dropped to the lowest ebb around the country. UP National Chairman Reverend Luto Tape said Liberia under the city-led government has retrogressed in all of the gains made by the government of former President Eli Joseph Sirleaf and the international community. Reverend Tape made the observation when he appeared on a live talk show in Monrovia recently. According to him, all the functionaries of the government are at a standstill. Governing employees do not know their monthly salaries, and the sufferings of the ordinary people have increased. Though the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, completed payments of civil servant salaries for the months of November and December, 10 days ahead of the Christmas celebration. The UP National Chairman claimed that corruption is rampant due to perpetrators being going with impunity, and officials of government of major concern now is to enrich themselves. And police in Bon County have launched a manhunt for a suspect identified as Nyan Zonga for allegedly murdering his friend Marcus Dulu in the county. According to the police, the incident occurred on Sunday, December 25 at about 10:15 p.m. with a single barrel gun. During a quarrel over the satisfaction with the distribution of proceeds received for the herbal treatment, a Bon County correspondent quoted police in the county as disclosing that after committing the crime, the alleged murderer escaped into the bush. The Bon County Police Detachment launched a full-scale manhunt in the county in order to have him arrested. Additionally, the police said family members of victim Marcus Dulu have received his body for burial after legal proceedings. News coming said APN Terminus Liberia, as part of his social initiatives, has embarked on a community project geared towards helping the Dole and Freeport communities, which are within its operational area, become more environmentally resilient. The annual project adopted the Go Green campaign was for this year, undertaken in 2 phases. It was aimed at supporting these communities adopt environmentally conscious practices that promote good health and reduce the risks of flooding. It was also aimed at supporting the less privileged and physically challenged or disabled with food items. The first phase involved a cleanup exercise in the Dole and Freeport communities, which are within the port area. These communities were identified based on a site assessment conducted, which revealed that they are part of some of the communities struggling with sanitary and environmental conditions. With the contracted service of facility and waste management, FIM Cleaned Incorporated, the company engaged the communities to clean drainages, remove solid waste from designated dumping sites in the community for onward disposal at an approved solid waste site. The community chairman, John Innes, on behalf of the community, expressed his appreciation to APN Terminus Liberia management hailing the initiative that has been extremely beneficial to every community member due to the cleanliness has been everyone's business. He further encouraged the community members to take ownership of the project and sustain the good works started by APN Terminus Liberia. At the same time, the community presented several assorted foodstuff to Group of 77 Liberia and the Antoinette Tuckman Seashell Home, a non-for-profit group catering for individuals with cerebral palsy, especially children and persons with other physical and mental disabilities. All the foodstuff were purposely bought from local vendors. This was specifically geared towards promoting the work of local farmers and vendors to enable them grow and sell more fruits and vegetables as the company helps the poor and needy in society. Momo Sambula, APN Terminus Liberia staff, and a representative of the Dock Workers Union of Liberia, who led the donation, emphasized to the beneficiaries that the company has the welfare of the less privileged in society at heart and will continue to support vulnerable groups in society. Rounding up this series of community programs, Clay Crane, APN Terminus Liberia Managing Director, who was personally involved in these exercises, expressed appreciation and gratitude to the communities for warmly receiving and partaking in the campaign. He emphasized the importance of clean, environmentally friendly communities and applauded the youth for their involvement. Freedom News.
Many thanks to Ellis Zanahinikin for the news bulletin, which is a regular feature on Freedom Evening News Basket. If you're just joining us, the time is coming up to 1920 Greenwich Mean Time. A reminder that you're listening to Freedom Evening News Basket, a 45-minute production of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. In stories we're following tonight, President George Weah vows to construct more health facilities across the country during his presidency as he dedicates the Emirate Hospital in Bapulu County. World Bank approves $1 million United States human capacity development grants at the National Road Fund and road sector development programs in Liberia. Court seeks arrest of 6 government employees for boycotting jurors' service without any notice. And away from home, Ethiopia Airlines resumes commercial flights to the capital of the war-hit Tigray region for the first time in nearly 18 months. Let's now bring you the voices of those behind the news following this very short break. Many thanks for rejoining us to this development. One of the constituent party in the Coalition for Democratic Change, the National Patriotic Party, has reaffirmed its position that primary will be conducted for all representative and senatorial slots for people to directly choose their prospective lawmakers. NPP Chairman Emeritus Chief Cyril Allen said the political parties will have to bring forward their candidates, including incumbents, to face the people. Commenting on appointments in the executive, Chief Cyril Allen made it clear that the new CDC framework agreement will give the power to the governing council of the CDC to be authorized. That's authority that would forward the name of personalities for appointment in the executive or judiciary.
And the next thing we have enshrined in the new agreement is that elections for the representatives would be done on a primary basis, no matter who is in that seat. Maybe most of the incumbents might not be re-elected by the people. So basically, what we have enshrined in there is that we will have primaries in each of the constituencies. Each party will present a candidate that is allegedly prominent in the district or in the constituency, and the 3 of these individuals, or 4, if other parties are joining us, would go for a primary. And the winner of that primary at the constituency level will become the candidate of the coalition. So that will get mass support, and we don't have people breaking away at the end of a primary where they are dissatisfied or disillusioned. So we have looked at that too. And then in the new framework agreement, we're talking about nominations to under the executive by political appointments. And there have been recommendations of committee. Okay. Now there have to be a decision by the executive committee that will be submitted to the governing council for consideration, and then we'll pass on that. After we have passed on that, then a copy of the framework agreement will be submitted to the National Election Commission. You have to do that because the terms and conditions of the framework agreement are going to be the guiding angel, the guiding mechanism for the Election Commission to determine the coalition status. So it is very important and essential. Yes, we are moving together to answer your question. The NPP is still part of the coalition and will remain a part of the coalition. There have been all the sentiments you hear out there are not real because the mandate has come from the National Executive Committee to proceed. Also, the LPDP have had their convention and they have made a decision to proceed along with the coalition for the second term. They also submitted a list of candidates that will form the Framework Agreement Committee, and they made these recommendations to the various executive committees. Once it's passed on, it becomes an instrument that we use to work.
He's Chief Cyril Allen of the National Patriotic Party there speaking. The World Bank has reportedly approved $1 million United States dollars for human capacity development at the National Road Fund and implemented a road sector development programs in Liberia. The chief executive officer at the National Road Fund, Boniface Satu, said, as part of the employees' quest at the entity to provide training, there is a need for some members of the national legislature to make available some foreign trips in order to ensure funds in other countries are operated. Speaking in an engagement with the press in Monrovia, Satu stressed that the National Road Fund needs to be enacted into law as an autonomous agency so as to introduce paved road usage.
The $1 million that was approved here, the World Bank is carrying out a road sector development program for Liberia. And the road fund is to be the financial management arm of the road sector in our country. So because of that, we need to strengthen other capacities in our institution. So that's why they are providing us with that. We'll even be working with the legislature for people to go and see in other African countries to see what has been done. And we're not just sitting here. Before we took over, we had a study tour to African countries to see how they themselves build their road fund. That's why you see we here to the mistakes that they made. We're able to use the mistakes to go beyond that. That's why every time we travel, they say, "Then how do you road fund? You guys are moving here?" Because we lessons learned, we took those lessons learned and we ought to improve on it. That's why we are where we are today. As we speak, we have a complete integrated financial management system called the SAGE Financial Management System. So if you come here today, you report, we'll provide that report to you. And we think that's the bedrock of an institution where you can account to your people. Then you have an open and transparent process in your institution. That's why we are benefiting from a lot of the things today. One of the things that this team is looking forward to a day that we have toll system in our country. Toll system that will give us added revenue. Because when I travel to Sierra Leone, I see that Sierra Leone is benefiting more. You look at the toll system that they have in their country. If you travel, you leave from here today, you go to Senegal. Senegal is doing the same thing. They're not relying only on fuel. If you go to Ghana today, the turnpike, most of the countries, in fact, that we have, so this institution has been working. That's what I want to see. Because no connectivity. That one made America great. That one made Sierra Leone way ahead of us in the road sector. So his vision of this president, I hope we all can gather around it and we'll be able to sustain it, because the more we connect and reach out to our people, the more economic corridor you create. Look at the institution differently. Don't look at it as a political football that when something happens, you put in the newspaper or you just come to us and ask us, because this is the bedrock for the development of our road sector. Cumulatively, over the 5 years, LRA collects the money. And based on what we are seeing today, we have collected over 120 million in the 5 years that is going to the road sector.
Is Satu there speaking of reports that the World Bank has made available $1 million United States dollars for human capacity development at the National Road Fund. NPA, as APM Terminals Liberia, as part of its social initiative, has embarked on a community project geared towards helping the Dole and Freeport communities, which are within its operational area, becomes more environmentally resilient. The project, dubbed the Gold Green campaign, was for this year, undertaken in 2 phases, and was aimed at supporting these communities adopt environmentally conscious practices that promotes good health and reduces the risk of flooding. Freedom FM reporter followed the exercise and filed in this report.
As part of this social initiative, APM Terminal Liberia has embarked on a community project geared towards helping the Dole community and Freeport communities, which are within its operational area, to become more environmentally resilient. The annual project, dubbed the Gold Green campaign, was for this year, undertaken in 2 phases, and was aimed at supporting these communities adopt environmentally conscious practices that promotes good health and reduces the risk of flooding. It was also aimed at supporting the less privileged and physically disabled with food items. The first phase involved a cleanup exercise in the Dole and Freeport communities, which are within the post area. These communities were identified based on a site assessment conducted, which revealed that the high part of some of the communities struggling with sanitary and environmental conditions. With the contracted service of facility and waste management firm Clean Incorporated, the company engaged a community to clean drainages, remove solid waste from designated dumping site in the community for onward disposal at an approved solid waste site. In all, 12,500 feet length, 5 feet of width, and 6 feet deep of the total size of drainages cleaned through this exercise. Community Chairman John Enix, on behalf of the community, expressed his appreciation to APM Terminal Liberia management, adding that the initiative has been extremely beneficial to every community member because cleanliness is everyone's business. He further encouraged the community members to take ownership of the project and sustain the good works started by APM Terminals Liberia. For the second phase, APM Terminals Liberia purchased and donated assorted foodstuff to a group of 77 Liberia and the Antoinette Tubman Child Home, a non-for-profit group catering for individuals with Caribbean palsy, especially children and persons with other physical and mental disabilities. All the foodstuff were purposely brought from local vendors. This was specifically geared towards promoting the work of local farmers and vendors to enable them grow and sell more food and vegetables as the company helps the poor and needy in society. Momo Samula, APM Terminals Liberia staff and a representative of the Dock Workers Union of Liberia, who led the donation, emphasized to the beneficiaries that the company has the welfare of less privileged in society at heart and will continue to support vulnerable groups in society. Rounding up this series of community programs, Clay Chin, APM Terminals Liberia Managing Director, who was personally involved in this exercise, expressed appreciation to the communities for warmly receiving and partaking in the campaign. He emphasized the importance of clean and environmentally friendly communities and applauded the youth for their involvement. For Freedom News,
If you're just joining us, a reminder that you're listening to Freedom Evening News Basket, a 45-minute production of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. A reminder of stories we following tonight. President George Weah vows to construct more health facilities across the country during his presidency as he dedicates the Emory Hospital in Bapulu County. World Bank approves $1 million United States human capacity development grant at the National Road Fund and Road Sector Development Programs in Liberia. Court seeks arrest of 6 government employees for boycotting U.S. service without any notice. And away from home, Ethiopian Airlines resumes commercial flights to the capital of the war-hit Tigray region for the first time in nearly 18 months. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we continue with more developments here on the news program. Thanks for rejoining us, and let's sincerely apologize that we cannot bring you the portion of Life's Pulse, which is a regular featured on Freedom Evening News Basket. But to continue with more developments tonight, the national chairman of the Unity Party has observed that all functionaries of the Liberian government have come to a complete halt, and the likeness of the people for his government has dropped to the lowest around the world. UP National Chairman Reverend Luther Tapper said Liberia under the CDC government has retrogressed in all of the gains made by the government of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
George Weah government and regime is worse for them in terms of economic dividend, in terms of job opportunity, in terms of so Unity Party will bring that respectability back into government process. We want to fight corruption. Our standard bearer is an integrity icon, a man who worked in government for many years and has no stain and trace of corruption. He's going to bring that on board. You know, Liberia is a small country, a smaller country, needs the international investors to help jumpstart our country. How many investors have come? How many jobs? We are going to employ and make sure that people of timbers and calibers, people who are astute professionals, will head all these parastatals and will bring respectability back to the public sector. Not people who don't even know what to do. You go there, they don't even know what to do. All the sectors are crying. Unity Party is going to bring that. We are professional people. Many of Unity partisans across the world are willing to give all their best to restart and revamp the economy. Who's going to trust you when people who don't understand economic variables and things about moving the public sector forward, they are not in charge? When Unity Party was there, most citizens had jobs, they had opportunities. But nowadays, if you don't wear that red cap or blue or whatever color you have, no one cares. It's like we who are not citizens are not supposed to be Liberians. You kidding me? Or because I have a different political persuasion, I'm not been treated as though I don't have rights in my own country? You kidding me? On a Unity Party when all of these people from the CDC arm were being recognized and given opportunities? So these are the things we're going to bring back. And we're going to lay the foundation of trust, integrity, and fight corruption. Look at what has happened to this government. Look at the sanctions on ministers. You think America lowered the bar because it's President Weah? No, America doesn't lower bar for anyone. She's not afraid of anybody. You think she lowers a bar because of President Weah? Absolutely not. So we are going to do whatever we can to make sure that Liberia raise our image in the international sector again.
Reverend Luther Tapper is the national chairman of the former ruling Unity Party there speaking. And this one just coming in, President George Weah has vowed to construct more health facilities across the country during his presidency. He made the pledge on Wednesday when he officially dedicated the newly constructed Emory Hospital in Bapulu County. The Liberian leader said the construction of the health facility in the county will improve the health sector in Western Liberia and allow foreign nationals in the country and people from nearby Sierra Leone have access to affordable health care services.
The members of the cabinet other officials of government here present, the Don and members of the diplomatic consular corps, His Excellency Chef Shabub Nahar Nayab, for better healthcare. Wapur County. I am told that this modern state-of-the-art medical facility covers more than 52,000 square feet. It's almost entirely powered by solar energy. I'm further informed that it contains 100-bedroom capacity for inpatient, several operating theaters, a modern laboratory, an intensive care unit, ICU, various specialized departments, and many more facilities are set apart in the hospital in the country. Today, therefore, marks an important milestone for the people of this region. It is a well-known fact that historically, Bapolu County has been one of the counties with limited access to health care. The construction and commissioning of the Emerald Hospital here today will not only help the people of Bapolu to have access to quality health care, but will enable the surrounding counties, Bombay, Bankipman, and Bong.
He's President George Weah there speaking. Well, folks, let's at this junction rejoin Ellis Sanayinikin for the regional developments here on Freedom Evening News Basket.
Ethiopian Airlines has resumed commercial flights to the capital of the war-hit Tigray region for the first time in nearly 18 months. Its chief executive, Mesfin Tassid, said the flights to Mekelle would bring families back together and restore business ties. Telephone services have also resumed. The region was largely cut off from the rest of the world during a 2-year war between government and Tigrayan forces. An Ethiopian government delegation visited Mekelle on Monday to discuss a peace deal signed last month. Tigrayan leader Debretsion Gebremichael said that full peace would not return until Eritrean troops and ethnic Amhara militias leave the region. He said it was unacceptable for half of Tigray to be peaceful while killings were continuing as well. Eritrea entered the war on the side of Ethiopian government, but was not part of the peace deal brokered by the African Union. A Belgian-led academic team says that famine, a lack of health care, and fasting is estimated to have caused the deaths of between 385,000 and 600,000 civilians since the war started in November 2020.
On that note, this is how I would like to draw down the curtains on tonight's edition of the news program. But just before we take leave of you, a reminder again of stories that made headlines on the news program. President George Weah vows to construct more health facilities across the country during his presidency as he dedicates the Emory Hospital in Bapolu County. World Bank approves $1 million United States human capacity development grants at the National Road Fund and road sector development programs in Liberia. Court seeks arrest of 6 government employees for boycotting Juros service without any notice. In a way from whom Ethiopian Airlines resumes commercial flights to the capital of the war-hit Tigray region for the first time in nearly 18 months. Thanks to you for your listening role. Thanks to our writers, reporters, editors, and contributors, and all those who helped in making today's edition of the program a success. Alexander Unikin was here with the news bulletin and, of course, the regional development. Abraham Kamara sat and ably coordinated tonight's sound aspect here on the news program. Further, on behalf of the entire team, Freedom News Basket returns on tomorrow at 7 o'clock, but better still, join us at 7 a.m. tomorrow for Freedom News Insight. Until then, name is Hagar Gonda. I presented. Do have yourselves a God bless good night.